Would you rather have wireless on the most reliable network nationwide or unlimited with 5G for $30 a month per line? You don't have to choose with Xfinity Mobile. Wireless so good it keeps one-upping itself. Most reliable based on Roots Metric US report. Results vary, not an endorsement. $30 per month per line when you get 4 lines.
Hi there, I am Adam Kirbas, and this is another episode of my podcast. We are here in Ordu. I am here in Ordu in Turkey. It seems to be a sunny Friday morning. We will continue our inquiry into rationality. We started already, and we some sort of brought in new topics. Try to start some sort of have a different angle on the prisoner's dilemma, which is indeed very famous in the philosophy in philosophical classes. So this prison dilemma is always taught. And I some sort of brought in some variations which may understand how people in reality act. So because the prison dilemma, according to philosophy, always ends with those two prisoners confessing or incriminating the other, so what have you. And this was indeed very important. This is some sort of rational choice theory is built strongly upon that. And where this our inquiry is going so far is that we some sort of surpassed rational theory. We some sort of came to an understanding that, well, you may not always say the truth or not only the truth, but you may not always confess, or that your benefits, your rationale, if you want, lays somewhere else than just in saving your own skin, and so on and so on. And the most important factor indeed is social rationale, which plays indeed a very crucial part in how we behave in reality. So it is very difficult indeed some sort of just use one explanation for human behavior. This is way more broader. Human behavior is way more intricate, and we will some sort of continue today with, or I will continue with, bring up more examples where we again try to understand from a different perspective, where we again try to analyze it with those three loosely, I would say words, or those three forms of rationality which I introduced. Again, we will later on define it in detail. Right now, it just should not concern us. We some sort of define it loosely, just in general, and we will some sort of go through the material and then try to figure out what it is. So then our fourth example, we have those three prisoner dilemmas, or forms of prisoner dilemmas. Now we have a fourth. This is not a prisoner dilemma, but if you want some sort of something we were, or some of us were faced in our youth. Our fourth scenario is, imagine you are a boy or a girl, whatever, and you attend Sunday church. You are a churchgoer. Your parents are very religious, pious, if you want or not. However, they are very righteous, should be, could be. They brought you up in that way. However, and you have a desire. You are a young boy, you are a young girl, whatever, and you have one desire. As a boy, you want a new bike. Great stuff. I pestered my parents a great deal in my youth about a new bike, about this and about that. You know how you is. You want it because you're classmates have it. You want something because you saw it, whatever have you. Then you have a burning desire to own something of this. A new bike, let's say you want a new bike. You asked your parents, they said no. You asked them again, and they kept saying no, and you get frustrated. You have your old bike, but somehow someone told you that this new bike you should buy or you should have drives faster. You are going to be the fastest boy on the block, and you want it so desperately. You wanted to be part of it, part of a group, whatever you have. You did not get the bike in the end. Your parents told you you do not need to buy every time something new, a new bike, whatever. No, your old one is just fine, and you get frustrated. You are mad at your parents. And then there is Sunday church. Your parents want you to some sort of be thankful with what you have, but these are all only phrases. You hear a lot. Of course, children do this, hear this a lot. I, in my youth, heard those things a lot. Be thankful for what you have. Well, in your youth, you may not quite understand it. This takes time, mostly into adulthood, when you understand what these things all mean. So to be humble, or to be decent, to be righteous, and so on and so forth. So in your youth, these things are mere abstract definitions. What someone tells you to do, like, I don't know, put your don't sneeze on your sleeves, use a handkerchief, whatever. I mean, we all know this. We were all children. We all know this stuff. However, you did not get your bike. Now this leaves you frustrated. And then you are in Sunday church. And in Sunday church, I don't know whether this is still done today, but there is a basket handed around for everyone who wants to donate money to the church. Whether, I don't know whether this is done in that way or still, or whether it is more modern, where you some sort of, in a way, can donate money to the church from your home, from your bank account. So well, we don't know. Let's say this is some sort of an old-fashioned church where there is some sort of hand around a basket, and everyone who can give and who want to give donates money. And now this basket comes around to you. You are holding the basket and you see a lot of money. Okay, you did not had so much money ever in your hand. And of course, you do not know how much the new bike everyone was talking about cost, or you do it. I don't know. But it is pretty much tempting. You are holding the basket and you say, well, this is a lot of money. And I could have it. I could take that money and I could get this bicycle. I mean, you are young. You do not, pretty much, this is very important, indeed, do not know your consequences. For example, in your youth, you do not think about the fact that, well, if you some sort of appear in a new bike in your neighborhood or at home, especially the bike your parents told you cannot have, well, they will not pretty much accept any explanation like, oh, well, I found it. Well, no, you didn't. However, this is something in your youth. You do not pretty much think about these things because some sort of it takes time to some sort of fully grasp every possible outcome of your action. You assume, of course, this is important. You assume a certain outcome. This is important. You just don't say, yeah, well, it will, or you may say, yeah, everything will be fine. I just will say, well, I just found it and my parents will be fine. They will not ask a question. Even this is in a way some sort of reasonable in your understanding, in your worldview. You act according how you see the world and your actions and what they might lead to. This is, of course, the experience, your world experience, your worldview, whatever, some sort of lets you calculate certain possible outcomes of your actions. So you need experience to know what might happen. Like a carpenter. I was a carpenter as well as I was an apprentice. In the beginning, you don't know how to work wood, how to do this and that. But later on, if you have more experience, if you have more insight into the work, then you understand some certain mechanism, whatever it is. So it is experience has a key, or is a key component how you can some sort of predict possible outcomes of your actions. You may be able to predict all possible outcomes like an ingenious chess player, or you may not, just only a few and however it is, but you some sort of predicted the rightful outcome, whatever you have. Or you had insight in all outcomes, but you predicted the wrongful one for you, because all those outcomes, they do for a certain degree depend on chance. This is something we have to know as well. So human behavior, human actions has a key component, and this is just simple luck. Luck it is. For example, if you I don't know, hit a baseball, well, you can hit perfectly, you can train perfectly, whatever, but on this very day, I don't know, you shake someone his hand, which actually happened for me once, and this person some sort of squeezed your hand in a badly way, and you some sort of injured yourself or whatever. But however it is, I mean, there's a lot of luck. It is luck. But now let's come back to an example. Now, well, you are holding the basket in your hand, and your mind goes through quite a frenzy. Well, what will happen if I take that money? But now, your parents vividly described you how hell would be. My parents, for example, they vividly described how hell would be, how cruel I would be treated in hell, and how hideous hell would be, and no one would want to be there, and all the boys and all the good boys, and no one wants to go there, only the bad boys deserve to go to hell, and so on and so on. So let's say in our example, our parents of the boy are the same like mine. They vividly described how hell would turn out. And if you steal something, and if you take away something from someone, you will end up in hell. There is no escaping. You will burn in hell and for all eternity. Everything you have, Dante Allegri, full. All those, levels, you go up and down. I don't know. But this is how your parents brought you up. Let's say they really emphasized in you do not steal. You are a good boy, or they just said, my boy is a good lad. He is a good boy, and he does not steal because his mother or his father do not love or would not love him if he would steal. So you don't. So this is some sort of an inner trouble which is going on while the basket with all those donations to the church lies on your lap. Well, I could have a new bike. I could drive around the neighborhood. I could have some fun. I could be part of a gang. But yet I could burn in hell. Whoa. And this is pretty much serious then. For you in that matter. This is serious. This is something because of the vivid description of your parents. You some sort of are pretty much scared of it. Of hell, I could lose my parents, or your parents in that example, you think of them as good, decent people. They all will go to heaven, and I alone will go to hell, and then we will be separated. We will never meet again, and I will be lost, and only the devil will be there. I will be in eternal darkness, whatever you have. And you are scared, and this is part of your calculation. And this is some sort of an emotional thing we have to think about, and we are thinking about it. Because if you give up or gain the bike, this is a physical gain you would have with money. I mean, if you take the money, this is a physical gain. If you do less in prison, this is a physical gain, because you could work, you could earn money. Or if you never learn anything in your life, or if you never learn from any mistake, and if you could continue robbing banks, whatever. But it is something physical you gained in our prison dilemma. The same is with our island. In our remote island, you some sort of gain time, the possibility to live on, or in our hard dilemma as well. You could gain friendship. You could gain your spouse, whatever, friendliness. Again, we probably did not go into detail, but however, you could some sort of have gain an emotional value. This is love, or a feeling of friendship, or if you remember our mobster example, some sort of a feeling of belonging. You do not fall out of a group. You do not fall out of a social entity, or in that matter, out of a criminal syndicate. Because in a way, not all mobsters, well, I don't know, are bad people according to you. This is how you perceive your friends. Well, this might be true or not. I will not comment on that. However, there is as well as some sort of an emotional gain. And here now, in our example in the church, this is an emotional gain, because you feel some sort of emotional relief. If you, for example, if you brought up in a way that if you do good, or Jesus loves you, if you do good, if you help people, you will come closer to heaven. And if you then do something good, I don't know, like donate money or help people, then you feel in yourself some sort of satisfaction. This is real. This is a psychological satisfaction. This is an emotional elation that you some sort of have either avoided hell, or you came closer to heaven. Both, vice versa, is pretty much the same. So in the same aspect, this is real. So everyone who was brought up religiously, or who has some notion of religion, knows that this feeling of relief as well as this feeling of anguish, this is real. I mean, if it belongs to, or if it is part of your character, of your understanding of how you see and structure the world. So this may not be understandable for something who hasn't got a religious upbringing, but this is pretty much significant. So the fear of hell, being separated from your parents, from your friends, and so on, or as well as luck. I mean, if you assume that only good people have luck in their lives, and only the evil one are followed by misfortunes, whatever you have, this plays a crucial part into your life. So now in our example, this is an emotional gain, or a possible emotional gain, because since you did not pretty much decide it yet, and this plays into your calculation. So you do not calculate what possibly someone with no moral values would have. Can I hide the bike or not? Can I persuade people or to believe my lie? Can I some sort of convince my side of the story? What do I have to say? And so on. No, this is not the case here. This is an emotional gain you would have in having avoided the hell. We will not talk here whether there exists God or not. This is even, I say that this discussion alone is just useless. It is, for that matter, it doesn't matter whether God exists or not. It doesn't matter whether religion is real or not. But here in our example, we want to show something, how humans act in a way, or might act in a way. However, to come back, so in the end, you do the right thing. You do not steal from the church. You are too fear. You are too scared about the anguish in hell. I experienced this with myself too. Of course, I wanted always something in my life, but more than this fear pretty much grabs you. So in our example, the boy didn't do this. He did the right thing. He some sort of held back. He does not get his bike, but still he has some sort of a relief. This is psychological relief. So we have here, if you want some sort of a social rationale. This is rationality and it is emotional. So this some sort of enhances your well-being, doing the right thing according to your religion, but as well as according to your ideology. So let's say if you are, I don't know if you are a communist or whatever, or if you are part of a political entity and you think if you do something, this enhances your cause, and so on and so forth. This, of course, plays into your well-being as well. This is then real, the effect of this well-being, that you feel elated, that you feel happy, that you feel a relief. This is real, and this is real as well in our example with this boy, with this girl, whatever you have. He some sort of avoided hell. His mother likes him still, or his father, he's not a disappointment, but again he did not think so far as he could be caught, because this is what we will all assume, that he immediately thinks about, will he be caught, will someone notice when there is money missing in the bus, so on and so on. So he did not think so far. He just thought about the hell situation. I could have a bike, I could drive around in the neighborhood, but then I would burn in hell to all eternity. Of course, a little boy does not know how long eternity lasts. You just assume very long because your mother told you, or your parents told you, well, it lasts very long, to all eternity, well, like it says. So, however, you have no imagination of it, but yet you know it is something bad and something you do not ought to do, and this prevents you, or could prevent. Let's still leave it open, because some boys or girls might decide to steal the money, but yet it could, and still could prevent you from stealing the money of a holy institution. This is something which some sort of makes your character. I did not make a separate definition like religious rationale, because moral values, ethics, this is something very difficult to talk about rationale, and I would rather say that religious behavior or acting in a religious way is indeed something social. because not everyone goes to Sunday church. We know that in North America, people are more religious than in continental Europe. In continental Europe, it is rather rare that people go into Sunday church. And if you know someone who goes to church on Sundays in continental Europe, to be clear to you, then you mostly assume he is a fanatic or a weirdo. Whatever, but we know that in the US, the religion has quite a huge impact on society. It's very important. And in our example here, religion can teach you to do the right thing. You should not steal, because this is charity. This is for the benefit, for the psychological and emotional benefit of an entire community. There are a lot of research which proves that people who have a very strong belief perceives some sort of well-being from this belief, and so on. So we should not some sort of diminish this. So this is real, this well-being, this perceived well-being for the church, having done the right thing, having avoided hell, and being a step closer to heaven. There's some sort of protrudes or can help you to feel better about yourself, to feel healthy, strong, what have you. So this is what we would rather say. In one sense, again, we would say some sort of your social upbringing made you to act in this way, so made this boy to act in this way and not steal the money, but as well as it is somehow individual, because the boy thought about himself, because he could end up in hell. He did not think about someone else. Yeah, he probably thought about losing his mother, but he did, or assumably he was not able in that age to have some sort of empathy that his mother or his father would be sad if they would not be with the boy. So he primarily thought about himself. In that sense, he acted egoistically. So this is something as well. So he acted according to his own emotional gain. So we have both forms of rationality here, and we have to emphasize both forms of rationality because this is very important, and it should be and it will be important in our next example. Imagine you are a celebrity, and in our time, especially through social media like Instagram, Facebook, what have you, as well as movies, movie stars, singers, influencers. Nowadays, being a celebrity is pretty much broad. You can be an influencer, or some say, or just someone who just wants to sell a product, and you already count as a celebrity. You are famous, and you have a certain kind of reputation. You are well known. You are a movie star, singer, whatever you. And as a celebrity, you want to live off something, or you some sort of sell a product. If you're a movie star, you some sort of sell a movie, try to promote a movie. If you're a singer, you want to sell your song, your art. If you're influencer, you want to some sort of sell a product, and so on and so forth. So in a way, to make it simple, you want to live off something. You need to make ends meet. And now you are a celebrity who, I don't know, lives in a special way, has a special lifestyle. However, but you happened to be a celebrity who some sort of kept himself out of the political sphere. You didn't want to get into politics, or being dragged into politics ticks because you thought this is too some sort of murky for you. You didn't want it to make political statements at all. There are some celebrities still who some sort of seclude themselves or stay away from politics or political statements. They are rare because there is, of course, a lot of pressure on them to some sort of make a political statement or some sort of favor one party over the other. This is especially true in the US, where a lot of celebrities in the Western sphere live, and so on and so. However, and you are one of them, and you some sort of stood away from those things. You are a movie star, whatever. But then your PR agent comes to you and say that you have to boost your public image, your public persona. This will help you in the future to get more contracts, to get more ad campaigns, and so on. So you will be able to make more movies. The new, let's say, I don't know, the new male fragrance of a very famous makeup manufacturer. Well, I don't know anything about that. However, they want a new face for the new campaign, and they were looking for someone, or they are looking for someone who has a very positive public image because they want to sell their product. And your PR agent or your manager advises you to do something which could boost your positive public persona. How people would, or just simply put, people should perceive you as a good guy so that you can make in the future more movies and can get a very favorable ad contract with a male fragrance or male perfume manufacturer. So, and then your manager advises you to donate money. Let's say this is, I know I some sort of cross a little bit the line here. However, I want to some sort of make my point. So I do not want to be some sort of audacious and want to undermine donations or donating money. No, I am crossing a little bit the line here to make the point. So please do not be appalled or something. However, and your manager says to you, well, a smart thing would be if you would publicly donate something, or if you would do something like helping other people. Well, you don't want to get into politics. You think this is a slippery slope, which is true. You want to be careful. You don't want to get dragged too much into it, because this is like a struggle, or this could become very harmful for your career, especially if a politician loses an election. So it happened for Hillary Clinton. A lot of celebrities took a hit on that. However, so you say, and your PR agent says, yeah, well, donate a considerable sum of money. And you happen to have this money, but you wanted to buy yourself a new car. You wanted to buy yourself this car desperately. It was a great car, and you have been thinking about this car all along, and yet your manager says to you, yeah, why don't you do something to be altruistic and boost your public persona? And then you struggle. First of all, you think about this great car. Well, I don't know. This is a car which is very expensive. Well, I don't want to say any car makers. I don't want to name any car manufacturers. However, this is a very expensive car. You have been thinking about buying this car and you want to drive this so desperately. But if you would buy this car, you would probably some sort of lose out. Your public persona would take a hit. However, and yet you as well as calculate and as well as you calculate, well, if I some sort of can boost my public persona, then I would be perceived in a certain way. Maybe this has an appeal to you. For example, maybe if you are a celebrity, you want to be perceived in a certain way, how people should be, and so on. However it is, you think about this deeply. What should I do? This car would have been amazing. Or you wanted to buy yourself a new home, a new villa, whatever. And now you have to make amends. You have to give away this money. Some would say it is an investment. It is an investment into your future. Again, this is some sort of a possibility because the new ad man of this fragrance company has not chosen you at all. So, and it is not sure that you will get those movies in the future. So it is a bet you are taking on. Some would say investment. Yeah, of course, it is some sort of probability which you might be suitable. And this is what some sort of is part of your calculation as well. Should I give in? And in the end, you decide to donate money to charity or for whatever. And you make your photos, make your selfies. You are a lot in the limelight. People recognize you as a good guy, as a decent person. Yeah, you are a nice guy who could play in the next movie with the lead actor as a nice guy, and this happens, and you happened to have a very positive public perception. So it's some sort of worked out or could not work out. However, in the end, you act altruistically, but for your own benefit. This is some sort of the key component in that sense. Or you could as well as analyze this. I mean, this is a very broad example. You could analyze this from a different angle. You could say that as a celebrity or whatever, you crave for being liked. You want those likes on social media. You want to be you want to have a lot of followers. Whatever, this plays indeed a crucial part how you act and so on. So it is not quite clear for that matter. And this plays in that as well. So there can be psychological factors as well, where we have to say, it was just about well-being. If you donate money, everyone likes you. You get likes. You have some sort of a feeling of elation that you did the right thing, because either you did the right thing or because people approve your behavior on social media. So there are many ways to interpret the decision why someone chose to do that, why someone acts altruistic. And again, of course, I don't want to throw dirt on anyone who acts indeed altruistic. This is not, I do not undermine these things. No, not at all. But it is possible. It is possible, and we will let it open them. In our third example, I will some sort of bring in an old hut, if you want, some sort of an old issue or an old dilemma which we have seen a lot in movies, which we have read a lot in novels, in good novels as well as in bad novels. This whole issue of betrayal. A lot of songs are about it. Should I go for it or not? Well, we will some sort of portray this last example. Imagine you work in an office or somewhere, and you are happily married, you have children. What you are lucky. What your wife is nice, she's your soulmate, and so on and so forth. But then in work there is a new woman. She happens to be the secretary, and she's gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's something you could say, yeah, well, amazingly. She's young. She's healthy. She has all those physical attributes you would assume. Firstly, with health, but as well as, this is important, you would some sort of want to pass on your genes to, or you want these good genes be or be mixed with yours, or fused with yours, if you want to be precise. So these good genes that you can pass her good genes on to your next, on to the next generation, despite the fact that you have already children. However, she happens to be very beautiful, gorgeous, and so on. And you keep looking at her, and she makes, well, this is something we have to be very clear. She makes clear attempts or makes clear approaches to you, so it is not one-sided. You can clearly state this is, be very cautious there, because you will end up in hell's kitchen. So she makes clear signs that she is interested in you as well. So this works both ways. And now you start thinking, should I go for it? I mean, on an individual rationalist way, you would assume no, or the answer is no, because if you take it from an individual perspective, then you would say, yeah, I could lose a lot. I could lose my soulmate. I could lose the love, and this sexual ecstasy which I would have with her would be just temporary. So no, from an individual basis, we would say, yeah, no. But from a biological basis, you would say yes. From a biological basis, because she's young, she's healthy, she has, broad hips, big boobs, I don't know, these are all natural or not, but I don't know. But she has good genes, and you could pass these good genes on to the next generation. This is what partially biological rationalism is about survival of your genes, survival of the fittest, and so on and so on. And in that matter, you would say yes. Yeah, I should father with her children. I should mate with her. And in the third example, I have to hurry up a little bit because we are close to the end. And in the third example, it is social rational, or in the third form of rationality, in social rationality, we have to say no. Why? Because if you are a businessman or whatever, and if you some sort of betray your wife, or if you are part of a religious community, and if you betray your wife with a young woman, with a young secretary, you could lose or fall out of this community or out of this society, because let's say you are well connected, you have a lot of friends, and they like your wife and you, but then if you some sort of betray your wife, you could lose your friends, you could lose some sort of fall out of the social connections, or you could some sort of, in a businessman, if you are a businessman and if you work a lot with conservative customers, people would not consider you as trustworthy. You would lose, or you could lose as well as your children, and so on and so forth. So from a social standpoint, it would be no. So we have here three forms of rationale, which
This is Sarah's O'Reilly Auto Parts story.
Driving cross-country with 2 young children is ambitious, to say the least. Then our check engine light came on. We pulled into O'Reilly Auto Parts and they tested it. Turned out it was a faulty sensor. They referred us to a great mechanic just down the street and we were back on the road in no time.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.